really made it seem very unlikely. So I don't think that this news here is all that surprising, and I think that now the focus is to get ready and hopefully be back in time for spring training.
Dan Hayes from CSNChicago.com joining us. Before we spring it, Dan, right now the Sox say they're going with the six-man rotation. Quintana took a bit of a step back last night after the big 4-0 lead. We saw Chris Sale's velocity go down in his last couple of starts. We'll see how Francisco Liriano handles things tonight against his old mates. How long do you think the Sox plan on staying with this six-man rotation to try to alleviate some of the taxing problems they have on the arms, the young arms of Quintana and Sale?
I think you could see it maybe for a month. I mean, I think they want to fine-tune things in September and get, the every 5 days going at that point. You want to get that going and fine-tune for the postseason if there is one. And so I think that for this month, though, it's a very valuable tool to have that because you get a chance to rest those young guys, like you said. Obviously, Chris Sale's velocity the last couple times out has dwindled a little bit. He's talked about dead arm, and giving him a little bit of extra rest is not a bad thing considering the workload that he's going to have this year. So I think maybe for a while here they run with it, and then as they get closer to the end, they start figuring out who steps out of that rotation.
Dan Hayes will be checking out your work on CSNChicago.com. Enjoy the game tonight.
All right, thank you.
And don't forget, Francisco Liriano's Sox debut can be seen right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Pre-game live sets the table for you at 6:30. Hawk and Stoney have the call to Target Field just after 7. And we talk about the White Sox and Kenny not making a deal on this day, but the guy was busy before. I mean, you look at the Youkilis deal, Myers, Liriano, and they basically gave away nothing. This was a good trade deadline period of time for the White Sox.
If Liriano's any good. I mean,
Youkilis has already won you ball games.
No doubt.
The
trade is fantastic. But the Liriano, I mean, those numbers were those numbers,
Right.
So was willing to give them up for a reason.
Right.
So we'll know more in about 4 or 5 hours, about that trade.
Well, that's a good point. I was talking to some of the guys earlier. To me, it reminds me a little bit of the Edwin Jackson move a couple of years back where we heard the White Sox say, we see something. We see something that Dr. Coop can fix. And we'll see if Don Cooper is able to talk to him and get Liriano squared away, guy that's thrown a no-hitter against this team. But will we see it tonight? I don't think we'll see many adjustments in his mechanics on this evening.
I don't know that anybody could tell. I mean, Liriano runs very hot and cold. I mean, he's coming off at least one good outing in the last 2. But I mean, one outing he gets crushed. One outing he can shut you down. I chuckled when you said they didn't give up much. They didn't really have much to give up in the Sox system.
Everybody says it, but it was enough to get these guys. And when I look around, like you made the point earlier, a lot of these teams didn't give up much.
No, absolutely. Right? Listen. If you're focused on winning this year, I think he made some really nice moves. I just think it's ironic that their catchphrase this year was appreciate the game, and last year it was we're all in. They're all in this year because if this doesn't work out, they got to start from scratch.
But if they were all in this year, they would have given up a ton for Greinke. I mean,
they didn't have what it takes.
Well, you have what it takes. I mean, if you give up your top 3 prospects, you can get anybody. Yeah. But Liriano, I'm a little concerned because it's one thing for a guy like Youkilis to get a change of scenery, refreshed. I don't think with pitchers it really works like that. I mean, you're either throwing well or you're not throwing well. So I wouldn't assume that this guy's automatically going to turn it around.
How do you manage Chris Sale? You're talking about arm fatigue in the 2 most crucial months of the season. What do you do? Do you
and
rest
the guy
him
that's
starts?
Carrying you along with
one of the best pitchers they have. Do you actually sit him down and starts?
I mean, look at the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers, for the last year and a half or so under Nolan Ryan, have talked about the tough love with pitchers. We don't do pitch counts. We don't do innings. We let it. Well, you know what? Kobe Lewis has done for the season. If Tali Feliz has got, they were as susceptible as anybody else. So I'm not so sure having a little caution isn't the way to go at some point. But obviously, if you're all in, you're going to need this kid in September.
Right. And I would just say what's tricky with Sale is he's so young. I mean, he doesn't know his body that well. It's not like PV, although PV thought he knew his body better than he did. So it's going to be exercise caution. It's going to be tricky how they handle it.
Lots more to get to on this edition of Chicago Tribune Live Game Night Extra presented by Captain Morgan. Up next, Chicago native and rapper extraordinaire Lupe Fiasco. that phone's really exciting. He joins us in studio. You won't believe his connection to Michael Jordan and Mike Singletary. Plus, we'll head down live to Bourbon Inn to get all the latest on Brandon Marshall and the Bears. Keep it here, Chicago Tribune Live.
Swim into savings during Bob's Gold Medal Sales event and dive into deals that won't leave you all wet.
Right now at Bob Mormon's Oakbrook Toyota. Lease a brand new 2012 Camry LE for only $199 a month.
There's only one Bob Rohrman.
The savings are golden all month. Bob Rohrman, Oakbrook Toyota in Westmont, 5 minutes west of the Tri-State on Austin Avenue.
This is Joe. He really likes the sun. Joe says the sun can give us all the energy we need without hurting the planet. He says there are people and companies who already know how to use the sun. We just have to get behind them. Can one solution to energy woes be found up in the sky? The possibilities are endless.
They're trusted companions, perfect company, best friends. Above all, they're part of the family. Keep your pets healthy and happy with help from Blaine's Farm and Fleet. In our full-line pet care department, you'll find everything you need. Beds and kennels, toys and treats, plus grooming, training, and health supplies. Check out our big selection of premium pet food, featuring the top brands you know and trust, all at our famous low prices. For your happy, healthy pet, count on Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
At the Gerald Auto Group, we know what a lifetime means. It means a lifetime relationship with our customers. It means keeping you on the road safely. It means knowing who you are and getting the vehicle that's right for you. It means understanding our exclusive lifetime warranty reaches far beyond the maintenance of your vehicle. Visit GeraldAuto.com today if you are a huge
over to John.
Are you ready for a lifetime of great driving? We are. Gerald Auto Group in Naperville and North Aurora is always a better deal. I guarantee it.
I haven't exercised for a long time.
I go out there tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning?
9 o'clock.
Schedule?
Superstar brings us to today's daily list.
Tomorrow's Wednesday, right?
Laird, Hanley Ramirez, Troy Tulowitzki, and Ryan Zimmerman. Just a handful of players that have walked up to the plate, their home ballparks, to this song, Superstar. It's also our walk-up music to our next segment. The man responsible for that track, he joins us now on Chicago Tribune Live. Chicago's own Lupe Fiasco. Lupe, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
When you hear all those players that use that tune to motivate them to do their job, how does that make you feel?
You know, it feels good. You know, I never thought that it would be used for that. You know,
right?
It's kind of weird. So it's kind of, and you know, music has always been a part of sports in some capacity. You know, whether it be walk-up music or theme music or whatever. But you know, specifically for that song to get, you know, embraced by the baseball community, you know, so heavily, was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's pretty dope, you know, so it feels good.
You split your time between LA and here in Chicago. Have you been at Dodger Stadium or at US Cellular on the South Side when that song is played? I mean, that would be a pretty cool experience.
I've played it at US Cellular.
Okay.
You know, and they brought me as well as Matthew Santos, who's singing the hook, who's also from Chicago, from Minneapolis, but you know, is a Chicagoan. They invited us out, and we actually got a chance to perform it there, you know, live at the stadium. That was pretty cool, you know. So, yeah, you know, you've seen the crowd react to it. It's weird when you perform at a baseball stadium because everybody's 1,000 feet away from you in every direction, but it's so good.
You grew up on the west side, and like, you were about 10 years old, I think, when the Bulls won their first championship, right? Right around there?
91, was that? 91, Yeah,
right around there?
9, 10. 9.
Yeah, okay. So, like, right in your wheelhouse as a kid to lock into a team, was that the way you were?
I literally lived we're on Madison and Albany, you know, which is, you know, maybe 2 miles, you know, from the stadium.
Sure.
Put something on for me, huh?
Lily, what's going on?
Oh,
it's a party hat! Look, I'm a bird! That's all me birds! Lily, tell me the truth.
No, of course not. I'm not
you
gonna
want.
let another one of your dumb skanks ruin my precious
What do you want,
memories.
Carol, what do you want?
From the creators
Give me that for a second. I don't know what I want.